Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at some wild and crazy stories about one of the most famous tech billionaires of all time, Bill Gates. This guy went from being a geeky computer programmer to becoming one of the richest people on the planet thanks to Microsoft's incredible success. But behind that polished public persona, there are some pretty outrageous tales about Bill's life and antics over the years. So get ready for some juicy stories that will make you see the Microsoft founder in a whole new light. Let's get started. Back in the early days of Microsoft, Bill Gates was famous for his insane work ethic and ability to code for marathon stretches without stopping. We're talking coding binges that would last days on end, fueled by nothing but Coke and Doritos. One legendary story claims that in 1982, Bill didn't sleep for 2 straight weeks while he was writing code for a new Microsoft product. He would just sit there in the same clothes, rocking back and forth, with his fingers flying over the keyboard. His assistants had to constantly refill his Coke supply and empty the trash cans overflowing with Doritos bags. When he finally emerged from his coding trance, Bill's hair was a total mess, his eyes were bloodshot, and his clothes were stained with Doritos dust and Coke drippings. But he had cranked out an insane amount of computer code in that short time frame. That's some serious dedication. Here's a crazy prank that Bill Gates once pulled on his right-hand man, Steve Ballmer. Back in the 1980s, Bill typed up a fake resignation letter stating he was quitting Microsoft to go work for IBM. He printed it out on official Microsoft letterhead to make it look legit. Then Bill called Steve into his office and handed him the letter, pretending to be all serious about it. As Steve read the letter, his face turned beet red and he looked like he was about to have a heart attack. After all, Microsoft was still a young company at the time and losing Bill would have been a catastrophic blow. But just as Steve was about to explode, Bill burst out laughing and revealed it was all just a prank. Steve was absolutely furious and started chasing Bill around the office trying to kill him. It took a whole team of people to restrain the raging Ballmer. Bill may have been a prankster, but he definitely had a twisted sense of humor. While Bill Gates always projected a calm, geeky persona in public, those close to him knew that he had an insanely competitive side that could turn downright ruthless at times. Bill was obsessed with making sure Windows dominated the computer operating system market at all costs. One former Microsoft employee told a story about how Bill went ballistic during a meeting in the 1990s when he learned that a new software program wasn't designed to be Windows exclusive. Bill started yelling and throwing office supplies across the room, calling the developers effing idiots, and Linux-loving scumbags. He then ordered the entire product line to be scrapped and redeveloped from scratch to ensure it would only run on Windows. Bill made it clear that anyone at Microsoft who didn't prioritize Windows would be fired on the spot. His eyes were literally bulging out of his head as he ranted and raved. It was like a scene straight out of a horror movie. Despite being one of the richest guys in the world, Bill Gates was famous for having some pretty bizarre and cheap habits that seemed out of character for a billionaire. For example, he used to collect all the McDonald's meal stubs from his travels so he could use the free beverage coupons to get refills on his Diet Cokes. Bill would also hit up clothing stores like Eddie Bauer and buy up all their discount racks and clearance items. He'd walk out with armloads of $5 polo shirts and khaki pants. Even after making billions, he just couldn't shake those frugal tendencies. And get this, Bill was notorious for taking the salt and pepper shakers from restaurants and keeping them in a huge collection at home. His assistants had to constantly restock his supply from various eateries around Seattle. Who knows why he did it, but it just goes to show that even billionaires can have some pretty quirky habits. Well, there you have it folks, some absolutely wild and crazy stories giving you a behind-the-scenes look at the legendary Bill Gates. Whether it was his insane coding marathons, his epic pranks, his ruthless competitive drive, or his bizarre billionaire quirks, Bill has given us plenty of outrageous tales over the years. He may have revolutionized the tech world, but these stories prove that at the end of the day, Bill Gates was still just a hilariously eccentric guy who did some pretty nutty stuff. Be sure to let me know your favorite Bill Gates story in the comments.